Fnatic, and also knowing Youngbuck when he was on G2 eSports, never liked to make drastic changes after a loss in a best of 5. Typically took their time to figure out, okay, is it in fact the pick and ban phase that's wrong?
Yeah.
Or is it just our in-game execution? The one change from Fnatic this time around is Camille getting banned instead of the Sion. Let's see if it's Jhin from Vitality. I still think you should ban Swain here, but it might just be the Jhin again.
Well, the Swain has suffered its first loss in 15 games here on the EU LCS stage by Vitality's hand. It is the Jhin. You have to assume if Swain is not locked here, it will be secured by Vitality, and now we see the pivots.
I want to see Vitality get Sion. I called it the best pick for Cabochard top as a tank because it allows him to roam to mid and further snowball Jiizuke, but they could also swap it to the mid lane if they need. It is available in this draft. It's to change from Fnatic because it was banned last time around. Vitality have lost that Camille that they used to play around Cabochard with. Tahm Kench, of course, has been the go-to pick for Jacktroll whenever it is available. And if they don't want top lane here, we might just get Gilius jungle pick. Seeing as there's so many AD carry bans, it feels like none of the remaining AD carries needs to be early picked.
Oof. Tension is building. Gilius played the Olaf in the previous game, is locked in. It is the jungler that you mentioned could have come in. Gilius had a good performance on that pick, found options. So, Fnatic's reply.
Braum Ezreal, the last 2 games, when they saw this. Braum again makes perfect sense against the Tahm Kench. That's a fine pick for Fnatic if they want to grab it. The Ezreal pick, some people after the last loss calls for a different champion, but it wasn't due to the picks that Fnatic lost. It was the execution around that Baron that cost them the game, and it's going to be the Braum once again. Now we might actually see Ezreal banned against Rekkles if they want to continue the trend of banning him out.
Jiizuke got that Taliyah we saw in the hype video that was created to commemorate his Rookie of the Split award, just how well he used it. We saw replays from last week's quarterfinal. It's important to note that Jiizuke's Weaver's walls have not unlocked the side lanes quite as effectively as Vitality would like. But no doubt he's dancing on the edge of those team fights flawlessly. We'll need to do it again.
Yeah, and as we mentioned going into this pick and ban phase, Youngbuck and also Dylan Falco now, not changing too many things.
Yes.
It's still the Trundle jungle. It's still the Swain and Braum on their side.
Oh, Silverband is still AD carry focused, yeah.
I mean, at this point, you might as well commit fully to it. We asked for 5 AD carry bans from Vitality. We're probably going to get it here. Do they want to get rid of the Ezreal on their side? Minitroupax can play Varus if it is left open. And then we just saw him perform on a more scaling carry from before.
We've seen it banned in both previous games by Fnatic. It continues that trend. 3 games in a row now banned. Yet another AD carry. Okay, so what is left yet? Bwipo and Caps could rotate that Swain. Sion is still up and available if they want to go that route. What other champions are up? Minitroupax.
5 AD carries.
Vitality gonna ban Jinx. This is ridiculous.
So Ezreal still left open in this draft here. Kog'Maw also open. Twitch, I'm just going to mention all the AD carries now. Twitch and Kalista still available. Kalista could actually be played, but she's mainly used if you see Zyra Khan on the other side, and obviously that's not going to be the case here.
So Shen ban, what does that mean to you, and what is that telling me?
Oh, I think they were respecting Vitality maybe drafting to actually win the bot lane very hard. And then the Shen pick is what we have seen from Cabochard a few times to really facilitate that bottom side. Now with more AD carry bans, but
you can hear the crowd in Berlin.
See, that would be great.
This is going back many, many years.
He might just pick Ezreal again, guys. I know.
It's important to note that the fans here in Berlin, heavily Fnatic focused. It sounded like a library in Game 3 when Vitality shut them all up. And Rekkles is locking in the Ezreal with Bwipo's Gangplank once again. No traditional tanks.
Cabochard can still grab something where Vitality can snowball top. Against the GP, he's not the greatest at answering. Especially after like stopwatch was moved all the way to 10 minutes instead of 6. Like, it's a lot easier to try and shut down GP in the early game than it was on previous patches when we saw GP top in Europe every game. So the Gnar, while it's not this pure snowballing top lane pick, it's still a champion you can play towards if you are Vitality. A lot easier than going to the bottom side where it's more of a defensive setup on both teams. So we might get the exact same kind of picture where Vitality want to snowball top, Fnatic want to try and stop the snowball from happening, while bot lane becomes the farm lane.
Deficio, this feels like potentially skirmishes in different areas once Gilius and Broxah decide to set up those ganks, set up those plays.
We're so close to having the same comps as well. It's just GP top and Gnar top. That's the change.
Philosophically, So interesting. Cabo and Bwipo, let's see what show they put on. If you have just joined us, welcome to the semi-finals. Fnatic are 1 win away from making their first final in 2.5 years. Vitality are 2 wins away from the biggest upset, maybe in EU LCS history. And of course, it was a good, convincing, confidence-building win for Team Vitality in Game 3. But they need to continue the momentum, they need to continue that pressure going into this match.
And now they're testing that fragile Fnatic mindset that collapsed last year in playoffs when they got 3-0'd by Misfits.
Yes, they did.
Rekkles told us on the podcast it will not happen again.
Well, he has to prove it, and Deficio, anybody that has been watching and listening, will be starting up Rekkles' POV stream for a special
Ezreal.
4th edition episode of How to Ezreal into Lane. It is twitch.tv/RiotGames2. You guys can check that one out. And the pressure is there. The Fnatic faithful sending their goodwill and energy to the pre-season favorites.
Okay, Trevor. Let's see. Last few games, Fnatic have been able to stop the early snowball from Vitality every single time. They won the early game, Game 1. They went even Game 2 and Game 3.
Yep.
We've actually never gotten to the point in this series where Vitality, after a successful early game, have to start playing around Baron. It's always been them responding to Fnatic, trying to set it up, and then it's gone back and forth. Last game, it went in favor of Vitality. Let's see this game here if they can utilize Jiizuke's Taliyah and Gilius Olaf to get someone like Cabochard even further ahead. And can they prevent giving some of these little bit over-aggressive kills over to Fnatic where it's actually Vitality overextending?
I mean, talking about Vitality overextending, the first tower dive they tried to set up on Bwipo in the previous game failed heavily. Not executed well between Jiizuke, Gilius, and Cabochard. We'll explore that a little bit later as Hilly and Rekkles coming in to just interrupt and really frustrate Gilius. Try to get into his head. Not really going to make a big difference, though. It's not costing huge amounts to the Vitality squad, but no CS picked up either way.
One of the big things they're doing also is they're forcing Gilius to smite early on against the blue buff here. Instead of just getting the leash and you can save the smite for next camp, because they're staying around, there's a chance they steal it. Right. Gilius needs to use smite there. So it does, again, slow him down a little bit. And in this situation here, Rekkles and Hylissang also gets to go bot lane fairly early.
Yeah, manages to get a couple of those Mystic shots down, so some early pots in this Kleptomancy Ezreal build. We've both played Gangplank this series already, and he was hyper-aggressive in lane. He was actually flashing forward into Cabo's Camille. So I'm expecting to see what he can do. Very good tag on that Q from Hilly. This is level 1 engage. Ignite's used already, and that's a defensive flash ×2. Gigantic win for Fnatic.
One of those things in the bottom lane where you're not fully aware of when the enemy team, can jump towards you. And it happens actually quite often on stage, which is still surprising because that level 2 tends to be pretty obvious. When you get it, when you can all in, and because Jacktroll,
I even know it.
Because Jacktroll had to start Q due to those level 1 fights we had. There was no Devour, and then he couldn't actually save Minitroupax, and they both had to flash away. That's a big early start for Fnatic's bottom lane. Jiizuke is just warding, not ganking yet.
Especially for the captain, the face of Fnatic. Hell, potentially to some, the face of the EU LCS. Rekkles getting the advantage with the help of Hylissang. Now Caps will get a little bit of pressure relief from Broxah. Jiizuke just uses that cleanse because of all the CC that can come down. He ran earlier in the matchup, no cleanse. It ended up hurting him quite heavily. That was into a Zoe, of course. This time around, it is into the Swain. Dash forward from Hilly. Gets just a little minion blocked. That little wiggle was a touch awkward, and what could have come there.
Well, meanwhile, mid here, as we said, Broxah putting some focus towards it. Was very successful doing this in Game 1. He's back.
Oh, look at that. The Trundle pillar into the Swain passive. Jiizuke gets chunked down from that vision of the Empire. Caps is going to be forced to wait. Gilius in the right area at the right time to help his mid laner out.
Yeah, but 2 ganks now from Broxah towards Jiizuke, trying to just slow him down. No flash from Member bot lane.
Who's going fishing? Devour from Jacktroll spits out Hylissang. He's down to 50 HP. Flashes away. The Ignite is ticking it down. Gilius will be able to pick up the kill with that flash Rekkles swing. Vitality first blood.
It was a bait all along. No flashes bot lane. Fnatic thought they could just set up an easy play. Broxah moving down, but after that trade is won with the Tahm Kench Devour, suddenly it's Gilius showing up. He gets the first one. He's starting that Ocean Drake. Broxah is still around, can go check what's happening. TP is well coming.
Oh man, Fnatic will not go quietly after losing first blood. The Vision's not going to tag Jacktroll, but he buys some time for the Devour as it's Rekkles that gets the kill credit. Dragon was interrupted and Caps used his teleport for that. So at least they've interrupted that map objective.
But that TP would just have been used back to lane anyway for Caps, so it's just a little bit of a detour where he actually grabs an assist for himself down in the bottom lane. So still worth it, despite using a TP for the one kill. But this is a trade before.
Whoa. Down in the top lane, bottom of your corner. Bwipo forced a flash. He survives. Sorry, Deficio, as that's the end of the replay.
I mean, there's not a lot else to say. Gilius showed up and flashed and killed him.
Thank you, Deficio, for that top tier analysis. This is the teleport that was the detour you talked about.
Yep, I mean, he's gonna walk towards mid anyway, so he doesn't even have to go towards the enemy turret. He's on his way back to the lane where he's actually supposed to be. Everything in the end evens out in terms of the kills, but small early win for Vitality, and especially towards the bottom lane where they lost the early flashes. That was gonna be a tough situation to be in, but then they get that kill.
So important. It also, again, goes to the leader for Vitality. Caps is trading into Jiizuke here, does not have access to his Demonic Ascension, so cannot continue the fight, down 10 CS. And just very briefly to touch on what we saw in the corner of our screen there, Bwipo got jumped on by Cabochard, forced to flash early, picked up his cull on the first back and is teleported back to lane. So Bwipo feeling the pain of that Gnar matchup.
Yeah, and that's again the thing with the GP is it is fairly easy for Vitality to try and punish it. Also have to mention that GP now, after all these Klepto nerfs, is going grasp for the lane phase, a lot more on his side, and less gold generation, so he doesn't as quickly reach 2 and 3 items where he really becomes a big carry. Obviously already in one item he can start trading fairly effectively, but he's still so squishy. Cabochard is going in again.
He is indeed. Gets the Mega Gnar into the wall. A real follow-up immediately after that. I think he interrupted that powder cake too, so Bwipo, again, just being jumped on, just being pressured over and over and over. And if you have just joined us, of course, So has injured his hand, so Bwipo will be the starting top laner for the remainder of EU LCS playoffs. Caps and Broxah looking
Gilius on his way.
Here comes Gilius. Ragnarok thrown down. Caps and Demonic Ascension surviving. Flashes away to safety. Bursts down. Gilius for the kill. And the pigeons save his life.
Oh, that's a kill for the Swain now. Caps in that mid lane. He looked very, very close, and Gilius did everything he could to try and turn the gank around. But the fact that Caps gets that kill is huge for Fnatic. Once again, trying to stay even in this early game. Do not want to fall behind against this Taliyah that can just roam everywhere. They're ganking Jiizuke for like the 4th time in this game. It's all back to game 1. Just trying to shut down the mid lane of Vitality. And Gilius comes in, deals a ton of damage, gets one hit on Broxah instead of getting that hit on Caps to actually finish him.
Unreal.
And then he dies. Caps was so close to going down, but that one hit onto Broxah suddenly meant that was not another kill for Vitality.
I've seen this minigame all weekend long. Can I buy a vowel? Hashtag ban Swain. Will it become a reality again?
This time you said it correctly, and I won't get baited. I won't get baited.
And of course, when we started the day, one of the narratives we had, one of the stories we had coming into this game, one of the ways that we felt Vitality could have won this game and this series was to play around Jiizuke, to try and camp Caps. And we've seen Gilius and Broxah spending a fair amount of time over the last few minutes in that lane.
Funny enough, Jiizuke's flash is still there. He's not actually been forced to, play in this lane a lot without a flash and have to constantly be afraid of a pillar being placed behind him, because he's been able to kind of dance away from the Trundle line. That's kind of the thing. It's a little bit difficult for Broxah to get in range fast enough to really be a huge threat so far. Gilius, level 7. Jiizuke's ulti is ready. We're looking towards top side.
And not there.
He's on his way. They're waiting.
Boom, boom, boom. Okay, the last time this dive was attempted, Jiizuke threw down the Weaver's wall, and it unfortunately blocked Cabochard and Gilius. So we won't see it happening this time. Timing was not quite there. As we throw our glance to the mid lane now, good seismic shot.
Hey, look who's here, it's Broxah!
Manages to get the damage down. And look who's here too, Gilius. Deficio, really quickly, I want to look at Jiizuke's stats once this action participates because Hylissang's there as well. And that was his performance until in the previous game. 3, 1, and 4. Great damage per minute and nearly 40% of his team's damage percentage.
And the crazy thing, at 20 minutes, he was 0-1-1 in this game. Had not been able to really snowball on this Taliyah pick, but the team fights suddenly where he showed his value, which also explains the very high damage and damage percent on his side. Now, Jiizuke, this game, Fnatic are trying to keep him down. They're trying to make sure he never leaves this lane. Cap's TP will soon be ready. If we follow tradition, Cap will use the TP back to lane and not actually save it to match a potential roam. Maybe this game will be different. We'll see.
Well, it's 10 minutes in, and we've got another even early game. Junglers are about to go toe-to-toe in the river bush, but Gilius will see the advantage. Gets a lot of very early damage onto Broxah. As Gilius starts to get chunked down and his defense is stolen from Subjugate, Broxah's going to run away, and Caps is now into trouble. Threaded volley's going to fall short. Every single shot just shy, but this will allow Gilius and Jiizuke a couple of autos onto the tower. And again, it is just an even early game that is not defining the victor just yet.
Vitality are currently winning the mid lane push, and there's that second TP back to lane once again from Caps to try and make sure he doesn't fall further behind. Yes, that was one kill in an early skirmish, but it's Jiizuke pushing the lane. He's looking towards top side once again, realizing, okay, he's not getting anything, and now they're fighting over control wards.
You could just see this entire game is kind of defined by these mid laners. Jiizuke is going to sidestep away from Caps' skill shots, and now Gilius running for his life. Cannon Barrage will buy some time, helping out the Fnatic roster as we sends Jiizuke into Caps' waiting hands. Now Cabochard's a little bit tired. He doesn't have Mega Gnar to Gnar out, and Bwipo's going to teleport into the river, chasing down Cabo. That Gnar bar will slowly start to build up, but he may not survive long enough. Pillar of Ice comes down, Flash over the wall, continues to run for his life. Powder Keg will buy some time as Cabochard was chunking out Broxah incredibly low. Eventually, Cabo will get shut down, but will it be quickly enough? Bounces over the wall, finally gets taken down. Bwipo and Fnatic take the lead.
But we've already learned that in the actual 2v2 fight, the Swain and the Trundle will win, especially when Swain ulti is available. So you saw how it started, and Vitality had to run away. Jiizuke's ulti there, too risky, too aggressive, thinking he could actually get out alive. Could have used it up towards Cabochard instead and take that route away from the potential fight, because we look at this. The push goes in favor of the Taliyah, but the actual all-in with the Trundle and Swain ultis being popped here, like, they have to run instantly. Jiizuke is out, Gilius needs to flash away, the GP ulti comes down, and now Jiizuke, I'm not sure if he thought he could go in and get a bit of damage and then Cabochard could finish him, or he used it to try and get out, but that backfired hard, and now he gets ganked without flash.
Yeah, he really does. Caps continues to look forward, looks for that dead hand, and manages to get the killing spree. 3-0-2. Hashtag ban Swain. It's 1,000 gold lead for Fnatic, 100% kill participation for Broxah and Caps.
It's just go mid all the time, just like game one, and it's working for them because some of the fights have broken out, has been in their favor, and now there's no flash. Finally, Jiizuke had to use it in the last one.
Yeah.
Then the pillar is perfect to just place behind him. That's a free kill, and no vision around the lane for Vitality to try and save the mid laner. And at the moment, it's Fnatic winning another early game.
And that means they are getting closer and closer to the first final in 2.5 years. Closer to eliminating Vitality from the championship bout. And at this moment, no towers have even fallen. This is still just a laning phase battle. This is just laning phase kills and skirmishes.
It is a mid-lane
have a lot of chance. Yes, exactly.
You can watch Rekkles farm in the bot lane with the POV stream, or you can watch this one, and it's basically just mid lane.
Yeah.
It is a jungler and a mid laner from both teams are fighting each other over and over, and so far, Fnatic's duo has been winning.
Mid laners need some more support, ladies and gentlemen. Where's the Abyssal Voyage coming in? Jacktroll gonna deliver himself Minitroupax as well. Glacial Fissure comes down from Hylissang as Caps buys some time with a stopwatch. He runs for his life. Down, taken out! Minitroupax spits him down with the living artillery, and Vitality get one kill back.
Can't win the 2v2, just send in some more members. Big kill here from Minitroupax. Rageblade gonna be ready next time he goes back. Rekkles will get a bit of damage on Jacktroll, but who really cares?
There's a couple of Vitality fans yelling and screaming over in the corner. Rekkles, how did you do that? Minitroupax scratching his head. The last remaining rookie ADC. After all the expectations and all the names, it's Minitroupax that's standing in the semifinals and unfortunately gets dunked by the king of EU ADCs.
There was a ward being placed just over the wall, spotting Minitroupax, walking back down to his lane, and what was actually a good play from Vitality completely backfires top lane. Top lane.
Cabochard gets the Mega Gnar just as Gilius arrives. Thinking about the tower dive, continues to chase. One more proc from the Hyper will just about
Here's
do
Trundle.
it. And it was the undertow, I think, from Gilius that got the final hit. Now Broxah doesn't want to go in for a 1v2. Gonna get smited down, or challenged down rather, on that Rekkles swing, and he's forced away.
Perhaps not able to match it. TP still on cooldown. Jiizuke back in mid against him, but Vitality responding here, getting a few kills for themselves. This is the initial fight around mid where they send in everyone from the bottom lane as well, and it's 4v1 at first until we get Hylissang joining to try and help the Caps. Needs to use a stopwatch early, still goes down due to that last ulti from Minitroupax. Perfect. Lands onto him and he dies. But then, of course, bot lane. There's this ward here near the blue buff from Rekkles that will spot Minitroupax walk by just outside the screen. There you see it. And Minitroupax, he's low. Oh, he doesn't expect
unlucky.
it. And he dies. I think his heal was on like a 2-second cooldown.
Well, there we go. What can you do about that? Minitroupax gets chunked down. That's the 6th kill that was secured by Fnatic. They got the first tower. They've got Rift Herald. They've got a gold lead of 1,500 just after 15 minutes, and now they're setting up siege on this top tower.
This looks like a game just like the last one we had where Vitality are not winning due to the early game. They need to now outplay Fnatic in the late game, around the Barons itself, like we saw last time here, where they actually managed to do it. It can happen again. On the side of Fnatic, there's still a lot of squishy members. It's not the same choke at top lane. This GP can die quickly in fights if he gets caught out.
Yeah.
So Vitality, despite not winning early, still have ways back in the game.
Welcome back to the mid lane stream as Caps gets caught by a beautiful seismic shove. He gets dunked down, kill secured by Minitroupax, and the tower in the bottom, and the tower in the mid lane.
Nice one.
Vitality are not done yet.
They're answering here, and once again, it's Jacktroll going mid with Minitroupax to secure the kills. 2 kills now for the AD carry. Looking towards bottom side. Gilius needs to run away now.
All right, gonna find a little bit of a trade with Broxah as he gets the chomp down.
Have to remember there's no ulti for Jacktroll. It was just used mid, so he can't join on the bottom side, but that's 2 turrets for each team, and once again, a lot of early game action.
And this game's not over. The tension continues to develop and build. Fnatic have got that tiny bit of breathing room that they have 1 game advantage. But from a mindset, from a mentality standpoint, they cannot afford to lose this. They cannot afford to go to a Silver Scrapes Game 5 scenario. Rekkles is going to hop over the wall with that Arcane Shift. And then we'll get Shelly at least a little boop onto the Vitality outer tower, but there's no minions, and that was a little bit of a fizzled Rift Herald usage.
Well, they got the charge on the turret at least on their side. Looking at cooldowns, ult for Jacktroll not available. Jiizuke sitting with his, but funny enough, just like some of the other games, he's not been able to use the ulti to really snowball the side lanes that hard. It's actually been a lot of just fighting around Jiizuke.
Yeah, to be fair, he hasn't had much chance to leave the lane.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously Fnatic's game plan. It's like, yeah, let's go mid 5 million times. It's been fairly simple in terms of that. Like the sheet they have backstage as the cast, the coaches, it just says like, first pick Swain, camp mid. And then that's what they tell the players.
I mean, you're talking about camp mid. We actually have some jungle proximity stats of how much time the junglers have spent around the mid laners. This is the amount of time that the team's jungler has spent within range of the mid laners. And it's pretty heavy in game 4, 37%, 33%. Really, really insane amount of time around the mid, but of course we've seen it. 5, 6 kills already, and we're not done yet.
So even in gold at the moment. Item-wise, of course, Ezreal with 2 early kills post Klepto will be ahead at this point in the game compared to what Minitroupax can offer on his side. But if he can get to 2 or 3 items like the last game, he can deal a ton of damage in the fight.
Yeah.
There's no easy tank for him to hit every time.
Nope.
Trundle is going to go in, put down a pillar, and then walk out in most of them. But it also means for Fnatic, because they play GP, there's a little bit more, it comes down to execution in fights. Because GP is not easy to play in these late game team fights. It's very hard to connect the barrels when there's so many members who can just hit it and kill it before it actually happens. And we got to see if they can do it in this game here.
Yeah, and of course, Bwipo, 4th game in the semi-final. He only had 2 regular season games behind him. now in this high-intensity situation. 2 games in a row, he's been a focus of a lot of attention from Vitality.
Once again, Vitality love to send 2 members to the same lane. They're doing it bot lane here. Jiizuke is around Cabochard's lane, trying to see if they can maybe catch out anyone, but
there's an opportunity behind mid. Weaver's wall, you can see the animation slowly coming up. Gets interrupted, and Fnatic have an escape route. It ends up costing Hylissang his flash. Is there a counterplay now from Caps? He's coming from the north. Not going to find an opportunity in just yet.
Turret is low. All 5 members of Fnatic nearing this turret. They can put GPU behind it if they want to and force them away to secure the turret.
Cabochard's got Mega Gnar and teleport available to him. Seismic Shot catches onto Broxah. There's the cannon barrage. Tower's not even going to be focused as Fnatic are diving. They've killed Minitroupax. The passive not going to do
they get everything now.
Now Jiizuke's in trouble. He gets caught and swallowed and devoured by Jacktroll. Sent running for his life, and Fnatic, they continue the siege.
They killed this turret before Cabochard could show up. That's big for Fnatic. Also getting that kill. I think Devour must have been on cooldown for Jacktroll. Cabochard gets a bit of damage, but he needs a lot of time before he kills this turret here. So big play. Grouping 5-man mid, GPO behind the turret, and they get more kills. 4 at the moment for the Swain. He wants more.
Let's see if Cabo can make it out. Flash is available to him as well as that hop.
He doesn't want more. He wants
a lot of tools to escape in Deficio. Confident, proactive play from Fnatic. As we get to 20 minutes, as we get to a 2,000 gold lead, it all started with the mid lane.
Yeah, so Jacktroll had to use early Devour to save Gilius, and now it's not ready. Caps straight onto the enemy to carry, lands the CC, pulls him back, and Minitroupax cannot stay alive. And suddenly it's Fnatic getting a turret, getting a kill. And I think the flash was available in the fight for Minitroupax, but probably didn't get to see the actual ability fly out from the Swain.
It's just such a dirty combination. Braum, Trundle plus Swain. Get any of that tag CC down. Use the Swain passive to pull him even closer and destroy whatever unlucky champion is caught in your grasp. And Fnatic have done it flawlessly. They've got themselves a very healthy lead. Not done yet. Jacktroll actually used his flash there to get away as Minitroupax was shoving in the top lane, and Fnatic are now sitting themselves some vision, some control in the river. Baron was pivotal in the previous game. Vitality punished a Fnatic Baron call, which is what allowed Vitality to get into the game, get back into the series.
And they have to do the same in this one here. We talked about this in Champs League, how the Gnar is not the same kind of split push as a Camille, who can just really easily take over the side lane. It's a lot slower for Cabochard, but of course he's going to be much better in actual team fights if he gets there. He's still able to win it. He's still able to constantly apply pressure, and he will get down this turret here. So more gold for Vitality.
Yeah.
Still slightly behind after that play that happened mid. And Caps is moving towards the mid lane to see if he can catch the rest of Vitality.
Well,
TP as well.
Are responding very, very well. Teleport from Bwipo. Cannon barrage has already been used. The Minitroupax holding on to that flash for a few seconds longer. Powder kegs come out. That will force the flash from Minitroupax. A parlay to Gilius as Jacktroll will be the sacrificial catfish. Will get taken down by the Death's Hand. And now Baron will potentially be a focus.
So this is what happened last game. Fnatic gets 1 kill, and then they start the early Baron around 21 minutes. All of Vitality on the way. Cabochard's Mega Gnar is gone, but Jiizuke is still here. Full HP, full mana. Can he do it again?
All right, Mega Gnar not available. Weaver's Wall not available. Baron's down to 4,000 hit points. Gilius, what can you do? Jiizuke's down! Fnatic take him out. They've turned their attention now onto Cabochard, trying to run him down as Caps' ultimate will time out. Okay, sacrificing 1 to prevent the Baron. It's not ideal, but at least it prevents Fnatic getting further ahead.
This time here, Vitality didn't have a chance to actually win the fight. Jiizuke walked in, no flash, got CC'd, pulled back, and he died instantly. Gilius was ready on the other side to potentially flash in and actually steal the Baron, but in the end, Fnatic do not lose the fight and the Baron like they did last game.
It's what you were talking about in picks and bans, Deficio. Similar team comps, similar styles. It's the decision-making and the execution that is now being upgraded.
Yeah, last game was all about execution, and this time, Fnatic here will go back towards the lanes. Another big wave being picked up by Caps, and he's extremely fed on this Swain. This is the initial play. The call is just to sacrifice Jacktroll. No flash, no way he's getting out, and Minitroupax will have to flash away after he sees what happens. And there, Fnatic, they instantly saying, you know what, let's go Baron again. Worst case, we just force a 5 versus 4 team fight, and that's exactly what they do, because when Jiizuke shows up, and there's no flash on his side, it's very easy with Pillar, other CCs to actually land it onto the Taliyah. Let's just watch. Jiizuke moves in. What happens? He gets pillared, and he gets eaten by Caps and pulled back.
I mean, that combination, Pillar into Swain passive.
Yeah, no flash, you don't get away.
So effectively. Flash is still on cooldown for Jiizuke. Despite the fact that Vitality have 2 dragons, they are still 3,000 gold down. They need to be very, very careful in these team fights. Now all that's going on, Fnatic are looking, they're setting the sights in the final, waiting to see if they will have a battle with G2 eSports. I think that was Smiter down. No, Minitroupax actually got it.
And one thing for Vitality is they don't really have a way of denying a lot of healing from this Swain. So when Caps gets in there, he's already sitting with the Hourglass. He can take a bunch of damage, pop the Hourglass, come back out and still look super strong, and actually then fire off the ulti and deal even more burst damage. The fact that it's the Swain getting so fat, this makes it even harder for Vitality when it comes to the actual team fights. But as long as they can stop Fnatic from getting Baron, there's a chance they can punish him here. Jacktroll, no flash.
Another very forward move from Hylissang. Jacktroll's going to be the target. Great help by a couple extra seconds, but simply not enough. Rekkles is on a killing spree at 3-0-1. Arcane shifting forward. Jiizuke finally found some time, but Minitroupax goes down. The Acathian surprise will not be enough to stop anything further. And with two members of Vitality down, Fnatic turn towards Baron.
Well, right now we saw the wall from Taliyah actually blocked them from getting into the Baron, so it's delaying them quite a bit. Jacktroll's alive in 10 seconds with ult, but Minitroupax dead for another 20. Gilius flash is ready, but he's getting forced away.
Bwipo's got a lot of damage with the Sterix Gauge and that Trinity Force. Throwing down the barrels, trying to keep Gilius out of the pit, down to 3,500 hit points. Cabo's coming in from the sidelines. He's got Gnar coming to him. Jiizuke's being run away from Caps. Baron's going very, very low. Cabo's in the pit. The Baron is going to be secured shortly. Flash out. Yes! It's not going to be secured. Broxah wins the smite fight. Vitality are getting wrecked. And Fnatic take a gigantic lead.
This play decides the entire game. Fnatic gets the early kills around mid. They then secure the Baron for themselves. It's a perfect play. They don't care about the Gnar. He's too slow in the side lane. So they just keep grouping and forcing plays against no flashes on the side of Vitality. After they get the kills, they go Baron. It looks risky for a moment because we have 3 members from Vitality coming in. Love the wall, by the way, to delay it. But now with 3 guys coming, one from top side, one coming in from the left with Jiizuke, and one coming from the bottom. Cabochard's Mega Gnar is so huge, and Gilius tries to get in to at least get the Baron. Yes, they might lose the fight, but if he can get the buff for his team and deny it from Fnatic, it could be huge. And he's in there. Oh, he's down to 573 HP. But this time, Broxah wins the fight for the Baron, and Fnatic will clean it up. They're now really far ahead in gold. Ton of extra items coming in on their side, and that one play might have just put Fnatic in the final.
7,000 gold up. A chance to reclaim the Fnatic legacy that has ended ever since the G2 dynasty has taken over. Now, Caps will get run down here, but simply not enough damage to follow up, so Caps escapes with his life.
They're trying again. Jiizuke is here now.
Look at the minimap, though. 3 members of Fnatic in the mid lane.
They need
push
this
him
kill.
down.
But no, they can't actually, because there's Hourglass as well on the Swain. It's too risky for them. That's mid lane turret dropping.
Chasing a loss in Fnatic. They are so close to that final, Deficio. 2.5 years. 5 splits later. And finally on the verge of doing it. And for Vitality, they need a miracle. They need a magnificent fight. A Mega Gnar for the ages to turn this around. And it's going to be exponentially more difficult.
Oh, Fnatic looking to secure that top lane out of turret. Getting a 10,000 goal lead in just a few seconds if they actually take it down. Vitality hoping they can get a fight to get back in this game here, but right now the Mega Gnar is gone. It means Fnatic are feeling super safe.
Yeah. We're not even 30 minutes into the game, Deficio. There's been 18 kills, there's been 9 towers, so much action. Pretty standard in Vitality games, but look at Minitroupax. The combination of Trundle plus Swain chunks him down, despite having flash available, does not want a follow-up fight. Bwipo is bringing the minion wave from the mid lane while Fnatic break open the base in the top lane. Time is running out for Vitality as Fnatic are crashing into the base. A second inhibitor falls. And the coffin, the lid, the nails are being hammered with each passing objective.
No way for Fnatic here to actually get engaged on due to no Mega Gnar being available. You can't just run at them as an Olaf. It's too easy for Fnatic to play against. So now they get double in here. They secured that Baron they lost last game, which effectively lost them the entire game, which got us to this game 4. And as we talked about in Champ Select, with the coaches on this team, and with the fact they have a lot of experience, they're saying, we don't need to change a whole lot. You know, I saw people complain about the Ezreal, and then suddenly it was like, the Trundle was useless in the last game, but it was not the champions, it was the execution. In this game here, Fnatic, they did it better.
And that would have been the expectation. The Fnatic roster came into the split with the fewest number of changes of any of the teams. The expectations were higher than maybe they've ever been because of the split, because of the changes, because of the players leaving.
Because every other top team made a ton of changes.
There we go, exactly. And Fnatic are showing up, the team comp so similar to the previous game, but as you mentioned, Deficio, the right decisions in the right time.
It was still close around that Baron before here.
Definitely 50-50 Baron. Gilius made it into the pit. What will happen? There's the Mega 9. Will find one, but simply not enough. There's a Devour now onto Cabochard. He's
Swain.
Caps blows up Vitality, and that might just be it. The inhibitor turret will fall immediately after as the inhibitor is focused down. Super minions are pouring onto the Nexus turrets. It's taken 2.5 years. It's taken 5 splits. The Fnatic legacy of always making finals is finally coming true. And for the first time in 2 years, Fnatic advance to the finals. Fnatic take the series 3-1, Deficio, and set themselves up for a truly defining clash of kings.
Yes, sir.
In Copenhagen against G2 eSports, the only 2 organizations to truly conquer and rule Europe.
The 2 organizations who's won 9 out of 10 splits in Europe since we introduced the LCS in 2013 gets to fight on the big stage in Copenhagen. And if you want to watch that live, you need to go get tickets now, otherwise they're going to get sold out in like a day.
Unbelievable. And for Vitality, a difficult series. They showed up at times, but unfortunately were just outclassed by Fnatic.
That's true, but I love how Vitality are constantly trying to get back in the game by fighting. It's never just sitting back and waiting. They're contesting every Baron they can. They're trying to make the big outplays for themselves, but it was an interesting series because what a lot of people expected to happen with Vitality winning the early game.
Yes.
Shutting down Caps in the laning phase. That didn't happen. It was a lot more Fnatic matching that, going toe-to-toe early, even winning some of them.
Yeah, of course, you see the guys on your screen right now.
He gets to play in Denmark.
Exceptionally happy. Broxah Caps get to play in Denmark, and crucially, just off to the side of the screen, a couple glimpses there of Youngbuck, former coach of G2 eSports, now facing off against G2 eSports in the final. And of course, he is now denied the rookie of the split, Jiizuke.
But it's tough for Vitality because I think especially here in the last game, they felt like they had a lot of ways to still win.
Yes.
It wasn't until they end up getting caught in the mid lane and then the Baron goes down despite a 50-50 smite. It goes to Fnatic. They win the fight right after it, and that's when it really felt like, okay, now it was over. But until that happened, it still felt like Vitality could try and get back in this game, could outplay Fnatic still. So
yes,
it's a tough loss because they've done so much to get to this point.
It was a competitive series.
It was, and then they get to play against Fnatic here in this semi-final, and you're so close to the actual final.
Yes.
As a bunch of rookies on this team, sadly, you couldn't make it.
I think with the exception of game 1, games 2, 3, and 4,
yeah, one was
traded
one-sided.
blow for blow. Early game was matched. I mean, game 2 in particular was just ridiculous. I think we had 12 kills by 10 minutes. It was really exciting, but not the cleanest League of Legends that we've come to expect.
When there's this much fighting, it's impossible to play clean games because you just constantly have things being forced.
And of course, the title shot. Rekkles, we heard multiple times throughout the day talking about what it would mean. You know, he has won third places many times. And so it's that very bittersweet victory. Now he's back in finals. Now he gets to really put up or shut up because he's going up against the king of Europe Perks, 4-time consecutive winner, and his new look G2.
In terms of the organizations, it's the biggest possible final we can get in Europe, that is for sure. But the third place game as well, we always have to remember to mention this, like the points going towards Worlds.
Yes.
They always end up being important, even though people don't remember the ones from spring. The points are necessary, and Rift rivals as well.
This guy gets it. This guy gets it. So we'll see how that plays out. For now, though, we need to turn our attention to the winners of today and the finalists who joined G2. Fnatic have earned themselves that spot in the 2008 Spring Finals. We want to know who you think carried the hardest. Good luck to our analysts because they had to narrow it down to 3. And the 3 names that they've picked is Caps, Rekkles, and Hylissang. Head over to @LOL Esports Twitter, vote for your poll, plus tell us who your player of the series is. I don't care whose his was, it's your vote that matters.
Cool. Then I don't want to talk about it.
Fantastic, then I won't make you talk about it. We are getting ourselves ready with an interview with Draco shortly, and he's sitting by with Broxah and Bwipo.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.